Let's go to Justin in Atlanta. You're here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Justin?
Hey, Rich. How's it going?
What's on your mind, sir?
I want to give you some inside information on both the stories that you were talking about today because I have connections with both organizations. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2001, 2002, 2003. And I happen to know the guy that Antonio Brown was sitting next to on the bench when he refused to come into the game. All right, that's the backdrop. To connect all of the dots, this is what happened. If you look at the math, Antonio Brown was on the IR for 2 weeks prior to his 3-game suspension. So that's 5 weeks total, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when he came back after the story broke about his fake vaccine card, when he came back to the facility, I believe he even talked about this. He felt that there was a different aura in the building. Of course, you subjected 2 coaches who are immune compromised because of their age, and also the head coach Bruce Arians because he's a 3-time cancer survivor, and you were walking around the facility unvaccinated, no mask, no nothing. And all of the other staff that work with the players and whatnot. Of course, they're going to feel some kind of a way if you put not only their health at risk, but their family members with which they go home to at risk. So when he got back to the facility, they didn't treat him poorly. They just treated him more professionally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, look, we're here to do a job. I don't really need to mix it up with you. You know, I mean,
Correct, exactly. So
hear you.
he didn't, on his words, he didn't feel the love that he felt before the fake vaccine card thing came into effect.
And then
All right?
I have about 30 seconds left, unfortunately.
Okay.
So,
All right. So when he was sitting on the bench next to the other player, Tom Brady came up to him and said, "Hey, man, what's going on? Are you gonna come in the game?" This is his words verbatim. "So you're gonna throw your boy the ball rather than me?" And then Tom looks at him and says, some words, what the what? And then he went back and was going into the game because, the offense was on the field. Bruce Arians came to him and said, "Hey, are you okay to go?" And then AD said, "I'm not going in." And then he went back. Bruce Arians went back, talked to the head trainer, talked to Brian Leftwich and said, "Hey, is he injured? Is he ready to go?" And they said, "Well, we don't know anything. He hasn't told anybody if he's hurt." Bruce Arians went back to him and asked him, "Hey, are you going to go?" And then he said, "No, I'm not going to go." Bruce Arians went back. I don't know about no throat cut, no throat slash. That didn't happen.
So just real quick, Justin, because we're just in the middle of your, it's Justin in Atlanta calling to the Rich Eisen Show right now, and we've spoken before. You're saying you know these guys on the bench? Are you a former player for the Bucs? I don't mean to.
I don't want to. This story is not about me.
Okay.
But I was in Tampa in 2001, 2002, 2003.
Okay.
Also, I want to quickly switch gears to Brooklyn. Because I know some folks over there as well.
Well, would you mind holding on? Because I just need to hop out for or thanks for the call, Justin. Just put him back on hold if you don't mind, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So we have a caller saying he's got some inside information to what happened on the bench, and interesting that he said that based on people who he knows on the team that Brady went up to Brown and said, "Hey,
what's going on? Yeah,
are you okay?" And he says, "So you're going to throw your ball to your boys, but not me." Here's the thing. This entire time, I mean, like, how did they go from, hey, before Godwin gets hurt, he's back. We're going to put him back on the team despite the whole fake vaccination card stuff, to done within 2 weeks. After he, by the way, gets 100 yards on 10 catches against Carolina. How does that happen? How does Arians say, "I don't know if it was an ankle. I don't know if anything about the ankle." And then clearly, he says that his ankles are all torn up. And so why wouldn't Arians say he thinks it's the ankle? Something's up, right? Don't you think something is up? Like, what is the up? It's money, folks. Adam Schefter, 2 tweets. Let's see him. Antonio Brown and his agent requested that the remaining $2 million in incentives in his contract for the season be guaranteed. Jason Light, general manager of the Bucs, told this to Schefter. Per Bucs GM Jason Light, the team declined to guarantee those incentives. That's why he's saying he didn't feel the love, folks. He's like, my ankle's a little banged up. I don't know if I can make these incentives. And I'm trying to get my ankle ready because I want to make those incentives. How about you just guarantee him? No? Oh, you don't love me anymore? You're going to make me play for it when you know I'm hurt? Oh, really? Is that the way it's going to go? Second tweet from Schefter. This one not sourced by a name. Other note to the saga per Bucs sources. At halftime of Sunday's game against the Jets, Antonio Brown was agitated about not getting the targets he was expecting during the game and had to be calmed down. Our caller, Justin from Atlanta, saying he has some inside information that Brady said, hey, you okay? And he's like, you're going to throw the ball to your boys and not me. That kind of now does make a little sense, does it not?
Sure does.
Does it not? Makes sense that Arians would say, I don't know if it was his ankle. Right?
Right.
Does it make sense that if you're a coach of a team, right, that has Antonio Brown on it with his history as you know him, and this game doesn't technically mean anything for the team, and you're planning on playing your starters, right? And would you text Antonio Brown and say, hey, heads up, I want to talk to you. We're going to play our starters. I want to make sure you're ready to go, right?
Makes sense.
And then he texts back a photograph. Yeah, I'm working on my ankle here, coach. Do you think that's his way? And he's saying like this, hey, I want to be in there. I want to be in there. I want to be in there. He's seen that with the coach, but the business guys upstairs won't guarantee him his money when he's clearly showing you he's working to get back on the field. He's not 100%. And then in the game, what's he thinking about? Beating the Jets? He's thinking about getting the catches. Where he would tell Tom Brady, who throws to the open man, and you better be open because I'm Tom friggin' Brady, you're going to throw to your boys and not me. And he's had him on the team not once but twice.
He stayed with him. He lived in his house.
He lived in his house. He was his roomie.
Giselle made him breakfast.
And he's no longer his boy because the money gets in his head. It's about the money. Does it all make sense now to you? Because a lot of stuff didn't make sense to me until now.
Yep.
About the money. And then all of a sudden, Arians is like, are you going to go in or not? And if he's like, I'm not, he's thinking he's pissed about his money. And the crazy thing is, and I hate to use that word, is that if he played, he could have earned the incentives. But I guess he couldn't have gone out there and played because he was hurt and they didn't believe him. And when, they cut him on the spot because he thought it was about the money as they were beginning to sort of get that drift from him. They cut him, and he takes his stuff off and runs off, and it's the organization's fault for not guaranteeing him his money, which you won't say in public. But the Bucs now are, because I guess once you put a receipt or 3 or 5 on your social media accounts, then the floodgates come out on both sides. Ugly. But who could have seen an ugly ending for Antonio Brown with an NFL team? And not just any NFL team, a defending Super Bowl champ that is quarterbacked by the greatest of all time. If not for them, then who? That's the cautionary tale for anybody out there thinking maybe Antonio Brown's right for your team. Chris Collinsworth and Albert Breer, hour number 2.
And Bucks practice is over, so let's wait for Bruce Arians
You know
to
what?
talk.
Here's
Let's
the
go.
deal. I bet you he's no longer on the team. I'm not talking about anybody who's not here on the team. They've got that ability that this is now in the hands of the league and lawyers and who wants to talk about Carolina in Week 18. Same thing for Brady. Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate I consider him a friend. You're going to get nothing on top of nothing times nothing. That's what you're going to get. Because the only way this affects them adversely, outside of the X's and O's, that his incredible talent on the field is no longer available to them, at the same time that Godwin's isn't either. And who knows about Fournette, playoff Lenny, and Ronald Jones, and a couple key members of that defense as well. right? So the only way this adversely affects them is if there's more news cycles to it. And I believe these 2 tweets to Schefter and that statement from the Bucs will be the end of any additives to the news cycle from the team. I'm only talking about the players who are here. He's no longer a Buck. Next question. That's what you get from Arians, and from Brady, you will probably get, I would be surprised, anything other than I consider Antonio a friend. I wish him the best. I'm always there for him. But we have to move on. He's not on the team anymore. We consider him a friend on this team. Next question. I would be stunned if there's anything else that comes from Tampa from here on out. Page turned. I've been around a block with these stories many times. I was on the air live when T.O. did his sit-ups in his front steps on his front driveway. I was there when he had, millions of reasons to not do whatever he was doing. I was there for, name anybody in the league in the last 18 years that has had similar spectacles around them. This is the way it's going to go, and it's always, most always, about money.